Hello, this is my production style AWS EKS GitOps multi-tenant 3-tier platform project built with Terraform, GitLab, CI/CD, and Argo CD. I use a lot of AWS resources in this project. I also implemented uh, things like security group for POC, Ethernet service operator, ingress controller, stuff like that. This is the high-level architecture diagram of my project. And this is the EKS cluster architecture diagram. You can check those diagrams inside my GitLab repo readme. My project demonstration. Currently, I have deployed my apps in two different environments in parallel. One for the staging environment and another one for the production environment. So this is for the production environment. It uses this URL, and this is for the staging environment, and this use this URL. So when the game start, it will count down, and when the time is up, the higher score will be shown. This is the high level diagram of my project. So for the users to use my applications, they will type the URL of my application inside their browser, and the browser will send the traffic to the R53 from AWS, and then the R53 service will send the traffic to my load balancer intent, and the load balancer will distribute the traffic um, between the pods inside my EKS cluster. Uh, for uh, for the security reason, I put my EKS cluster inside the private subnet. I also put my RDS instance inside the private subnet for the security reason. The load balancer need to be inside the public subnet because it need to communicate with the public. Uh, my whole EKS cluster will be exposed to the public only through the load balancer. So this is the EKS cluster architecture diagram. So inside the EKS, I have installed ingress controller. So one an ingress resource is created inside the cluster. Ingress controller will automatically create a load balancer inside the AWS. I use cluster IP service inside the cluster because I will not directly expose my application, front-end application and backend application to the public, so I don't need to use a node port service. The front-end application and backend application will be backed by horizontal port autoscaler. So when the load increase on those applications, the deployment will scale out automatically. So because I use deployment, when a port is broken, a new port will be automatically deployed to replace the broken port. I also use network policy to control the traffic inside the cluster. So backend application will allow only the incoming traffic from the front end application, and front end application will also be allowed to send the outgoing traffic to the backend application. Because the network policy is not enough to control the traffic between the backend application and AWS service RDS resource. I need to use security group for POC. So that is why I implemented security group for POC inside my cluster. So because I implemented security group for POC, each port will have EMI. Each port can have its own security group. So In this project, I use multi-tenant architecture. So I get so many tenants like production tenants, station tenant, and development tenants can use the same cluster at the same time with no conflict. Uh, I made that possible to happen by using Kubernetes namespace service. Mm, Namespace can isolate each tenant inside the cluster. Because of that architecture, I can save cost and reduce management overhead. So I also set up external service operator because I don't want to hard code any credential inside my uh, project repo code. You know, uh, I install external service operator using ham. I also use ham to install things like Prometheus, Grafana, and Alert Manager, and also Argo CD. But for ingress controller, I use Bash script because I wanted to know how it was behind the scene at the time of installing that one. Actually, I can simply use ham to install to install ingress controller as well. I also created a feature to alert the user when a port is broken inside the cluster. So I use alert manager to make that possible. Uh, so for example, when a port is broken inside the cluster, the alert manager will use AWS SNS service to send emails to the user. So uh, because things like external service operator, ingress controller, and alert manager need to use AWS service and they are inside EKS cluster, I need to uh, implement IRSA. So yeah, so I also install Argo CD using ham for continuous delivery.